All right, we're back at the GWB site, reporting live in the middle of winter. Got about a good 4 to 6 inches of snow here, crusty top. Came back to this spot because I knew there was a good signal here. Only problem is I had a 4-pronged rake with me at the time. I wanted to come back with the good old root slayer. Got it out. There's the hole. Let's see what's in it. See something sticking out right there? Oh no. Alright, pinpointer time. Alright, so let me jump in. This was shortly after I got this camera and I was not saying much, nothing coherent, and wanted to just take pictures and watch myself and help hone my skills, which I gotta say I did. So, give you some context. This site, just 2 weeks before this, I found the George Washington inauguration button, just 10 yards away. And I came back on President's Day because I had the day off, and I figured how cool would it be to come back on President's Day to the George Washington button site. So I did. And I wasn't finding much. I found a nail, and I found a can next to the trail. So when I saw this, I thought it was just another aluminum can, but no. This has some pretty fancy detail around the edge. Some lettering, couldn't make out what it was saying. A nice fancy detail in the middle there that ends up being a crown. I saw a crown. I'm like, whoa, wait. let me take some time and clean this up. And at this point, I didn't carry around water with me because I never found anything precious that needed to be kind of washed off rather than brushed off. So I was lightly brushing this off. I could tell that it just wasn't coming off. A lot of it wasn't coming off. I think this was in a fire. That's why it's really dark around the edges there. But yeah, so I ended up grabbing some snow, figuring maybe I could melt that on it and wash off some of the dirt. But yeah, even with the dirt coming off, it was still dark, so it was probably in a fire. But and it was funny, just a couple days before this, I ordered a acid test kit. So once it came in, I did test it, and it's 50% silver alloy. And I don't think I damaged it too much. I didn't realize this was something really cool. So I'm pointing out where I found the George Washington button. It was on that far right tree. And I was not going out there because it was a windy day and I didn't want to be under a tree. So I came over towards the foundation up against the stone wall, which is right next to where my shovel was. So yeah, I'm getting some snow to kind of melt on top of this to see if it'll clean up any better, but it really didn't. So there you go. There's a really interesting relic, and so this happened a year ago, last February, and I've been hesitating on releasing this because I wanted to wait and give you all the details that I found about what this might be. And I've done some research on the area, on who owns this property. The farthest I got is about mid-19th century, and I'm trying to date this back to the 18th century, back to the George Washington button, and just not having much luck. So real funny. I thought this was aluminum at first, and you didn't hear it in the video because I'm talking over it, but I was like, oh, I wonder when aluminum was invented. And it turns out 1825 is when it was discovered. Turned into aluminum, what we know. So that's it. Give you some close-up shots. So there was some lettering around the edge. Nemo me Impune Lacesset. which is Latin. And that was easy. That was the easiest thing to find. I found that right away online. Nemo me impune Lacesset, which is Latin for, wait for it, it's coming. There you go. No one assails me with impunity. That means basically, don't mess with me. The Royal Scots, the Royal Regiment, the Regimental Museum, and Words and Pictures is where I found this information. And the crown image in the middle that I was talking about, it's sitting on top of a thistle, and that is often associated with the Order of the Thistle, the most ancient and most noble order of the Thistle. It's the highest order of chivalry in Scotland and the second most senior in the United Kingdom. It's awarded to Scottish individuals for contributions to public office or national life. So that gives you a little more background, more information on what this relic might be, if it is indeed tied to the Order of the Thistle. And it kind of makes sense. So I dated this site to the late 18th century by finding that George Washington inauguration button. So it's very possible that this item was from the same family around the same time. And the Order of the Thistle goes back to the late 17th century. So it all lines up. And like I said, I did test it. It's a 50% silver alloy. So we'll take a little closer look at that image. It's really cool. That a lot of detail, that crown and the thistle. But it's basically, there's a crown at the top of the image in the middle. And then it's sitting atop a thistle, which is very common in Scotland. I think there's a story about there was an invasion of the Vikings or something, and the Scots were tipped off that they were coming because one of the Vikings stepped on a thistle, which is kind of prickly, and they cried out, and that helped warn the Scots that the Vikings were coming, which is a really cool story because it's similar to the one that is very common to where I grew up, a town over called Willimantic. But that one involves frogs. So I'll tell you that one. I'll do a dig on Willimantic and tell you about that one another time. And the lettering around the edge, the closest thing I can think of is maybe this was some sort of helmet badge, or maybe it was just a plate that was issued to someone who was a member of the Order of the Thistle, and they received this out of appreciation for their chivalry and their community service, maybe at the time in the late 1700s. That's the mystery. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to fill in the blanks, so I'm reaching out to you. Basically, I'm putting this out there now because I need some help. If you have any ideas, any thoughts, please share them with me. Ideally, I hope the Scottish Detectorist reaches out, because he would know. He is such a great content creator. I love watching him. Very knowledgeable. Maybe the Scottish Detectorist can help me out here. Thanks for watching. Hope you see me again soon. Hopefully with an update on what this relic is and a little story behind it.